The Incredible Hulk. So I started reviewing all the MCU movies. We started with Iron Man, and I'm going to be reviewing one every single Sunday and Monday because unlike most series of movies I talk about, where there's like maybe 5, 6 movies, something like that, right? Or even Star Wars, where there's about like 9 in the main line and there's some spin-offs and things like that. But for the most part, it's just those, it's just a few movies. Marvel put out 20 plus movies in the span of 10 years. And so that's a lot of movies to review. And so I wanted to put one out two a week. So we have to talk about The Incredible Hulk, even though I don't want to talk about it. Now, some people, this is the black sheep of these movies. Because basically, Hulk is like Spider-Man. They are shared custody between studios. Marvel and Sony both own the rights to Spider-Man. Universal and Marvel own the rights to the Hulk. And we have to talk about the Ang Lee Hulk. The Ang Lee Hulk movie is bad. It tainted people's perception of this character. It came out in 2003, and the movie's ugly. It tries to be this serious movie about the Hulk. It doesn't work out very well. And everyone said this movie learned its lesson and didn't do that. I don't think so. Here's the thing. So a lot of people are gonna laugh when I say this. I think the Ang Lee Hulk is better than this movie. Now, that doesn't mean I like it as a good film. I just think it's better than this movie. The reason why is because Ang Lee's Hulk tried to look like a comic, and it was all these weird editing styles, and he did all this cool stuff with it. Now, that stuff didn't work out and was bad, but it looking like a comic was cool. That's a cool thing. And, at least he tried to do something different, okay? Because, he tried. It didn't work out. This movie tries nothing and is boring and pathetic. I know a lot of people like to say, hey, this movie's better than that movie, and it learned its lesson. I don't think so. This movie is ugly. It is very, very, very ugly. The color palette is very gray and ugly. It's very over dramatic. It's hard to see the action, and there's very little action in this movie. The action there is terrible. It looks awful. You can't even see half of it. Like the fight at the end with the Abomination, it's just boring because it's like the Ang Lee Hulk. They try to make it like a boring melodrama about the Hulk. There's writers who come out and say, hey, the whole problem of making a Hulk movie is that you have to make it so he doesn't want to be the Hulk. Even though that's not how you have to write him. There's tons of stories that aren't written like that. It comes from a misunderstanding of the characters that's in these movies. Both Hulk movies have it. This movie isn't better. I guess you could say it's more watchable than the Ang Lee Hulk, but it still does the same things and does them poorly. Edward Norton has really been vocal about how Marvel screwed him over and how he couldn't be a part of the MCU. Bro, shut the hell up, man. Okay? I do not hate Edward Norton. Edward Norton is a decent actor. But Edward Norton is the kind of actor you see in a Wes Anderson movie because he talks super dry and serious. And he's funny, and he's good at that. He's not good at being a Hulk. This movie, the Marvel movies are about having leads that are charismatic and you like watching. Okay? Most of the movies aren't that well written. The action isn't that well choreographed or well done. The movies aren't that well made sometimes, you know, but people like watching them because they like Thor, they like Captain America, they like Iron Man. So when you're gonna put this dry, super serious actor as the Hulk, and you think you're right for the role, I'm sorry, bro, but you're not. You suck at this, and it's confusing to me because this movie isn't. A lot of people think it isn't part of the MCU, and it shouldn't be. Like, because what they do in the Avengers is they just recap the Hulk's origin for the third time in like the last 10 years or so. It was like, yeah, let's do it again, and it's like, and is in a recast of Mark Ruffalo, and it's done well. This is just like, so it shouldn't be, but now they're like, hey, we're gonna bring back the Abomination from this movie. Like, did anybody like the Abomination? Was anybody like, let's bring him back? And then they're like, and then they brought back the general guy. He was in like Civil War. I'm forgetting this. I think it's Ross or whatever. I don't know. He's in the movie for some reason. It's like, did anybody want to see these elements come back? Did anybody want this? And yeah, it's cool that this was the first movie to tease that there's Avengers movie at the end, but like, in terms of what the movie is, it's just, it is the worst Marvel movie. The score to this movie is not bad music, but it's over a movie that doesn't deserve this type of score. The score that's like over dramatic and trying to be empowering. This Hulk movie shouldn't be dramatic and empowering. That's not what the Hulk is. It's so bad. I believe it's an hour and 53 minutes. It feels longer than that, but it also feels shorter. I mean, the editing to this movie is really awkward and strange. It's just ugly. It's not nice to look at. It's not nice to watch. It's just boring, and you should never watch this movie. It's terrible. And there's a reason this movie isn't remembered as part of the MCU, because no one wants to remember it. No one should remember it because it's terrible.